9-year-old Mia Gonzalez was playing near Miller Creek during a family picnic when a sudden downpour upstream caused the normally gentle stream to transform into a raging torrent that swept her away before anyone could react to the flash flood that had claimed 3 lives in the same area over the past decade. The rushing water carried Mia downstream toward a 20-foot waterfall where the creek plunged into a deep pool surrounded by jagged rocks that would be fatal for anyone swept over the edge without immediate rescue intervention. Her terrified family could only watch helplessly from the creek bank as Mia struggled to stay afloat in water, moving too fast for human rescuers to safely enter without specialized equipment that would take precious minutes to deploy. But Captain, a Newfoundland with the Regional Water Rescue Unit, was training nearby when the emergency call came through and immediately recognized the life-threatening situation that required his specialized swift water rescue capabilities. Without waiting for full team deployment or safety protocols, Captain dove into the dangerous current and used his powerful swimming abilities to reach Mia before the flood could carry her over the waterfall into the deadly pool below where her chances of survival would drop to 0. Welcome to Save by Tales. Before we dive into this heart-pounding story of natural water rescue instincts meeting sudden disaster and a Newfoundland's courage creating hope when flash floods threaten to claim a young life, join our community of animal hero enthusiasts who understand that some emergencies require the specialized skills that only certain breeds possess when nature unleashes its most dangerous forces. The Gonzalez family had chosen Miller Creek Park for their weekend picnic because of its scenic beauty and the gentle stream that provided a safe water feature where children could play under parental supervision during warm summer afternoons. Mia loves playing near the water, her mother Rosa Gonzalez often told other parents. She's a good swimmer, but we always stay in the shallow areas where the current is gentle and safe for children. 9-year-old Mia Gonzalez was an adventurous child who understood basic water safety but couldn't predict the sudden weather changes that could transform peaceful streams into deadly torrents within minutes. Captain, a 4-year-old Newfoundland with the Regional Water Rescue Unit, was conducting training exercises at a nearby lake when the flash flood emergency call came through, requiring immediate deployment to Miller Creek, where lives were in immediate danger. Captain specializes in swift water rescue operations, explained his handler, emergency specialist Jennifer Walsh. His size, strength, and natural water abilities make him our most capable responder for flood emergencies where human rescuers face extreme risks. The sudden downpour that triggered Miller Creek's flash flood developed upstream in the mountains, where heavy rainfall created runoff conditions that could transform gentle streams into dangerous torrents within 30 minutes. "Look at the water," Mia called excitedly as she noticed the creek level rising and the current becoming stronger, not understanding that these changes indicated approaching danger rather than interesting natural phenomena. The flash flood arrived with devastating speed, turning Miller Creek from a gentle stream into a raging torrent that could sweep away adults and children with equal ease and deadly efficiency. "Mia, get away from the water," Rosa called desperately as she realized the creek was becoming dangerous, but the flood's arrival was faster than human reaction time could accommodate. The rushing water knocked Mia off her feet and carried her downstream toward the waterfall that marked the most dangerous section of Miller Creek, where previous flood victims had lost their lives. Rosa's 911 call brought immediate response from emergency services, but swift water rescue operations required specialized equipment and training that would take precious minutes to deploy, while Mia was swept toward the waterfall. "We have a child in floodwater at Miller Creek," Jennifer radioed as she and Captain raced toward the emergency location. Flash flood conditions with victim heading toward the waterfall section. Captain's assessment of the flood rescue situation was immediate and professional, using instincts and training that prepared Newfoundlands for exactly this type of dangerous water emergency. The Newfoundland's response was immediate when he saw Mia struggling in the rushing water approximately 50 yards upstream from the waterfall that would be fatal for anyone swept over the edge. "Captain, go," Jennifer commanded as she recognized that conventional swift water rescue equipment wouldn't reach Mia quickly enough to prevent her from being carried over the waterfall. Captain's entry into the flash flood demonstrated the specialized capabilities that made Newfoundland's legendary water rescue dogs, with natural buoyancy and swimming power that allowed them to operate in conditions that would overwhelm most other breeds. The Newfoundland's approach to Mia required fighting against currents strong enough to carry vehicles downstream, using techniques that his breed had developed through centuries of water rescue operations. "Dog coming, hold on," Jennifer called to Mia as Captain began his systematic approach through the dangerous current that posed risks to both rescuer and victim. Captain's powerful swimming stroke and natural rescue instincts guided his movement through the floodwater toward Mia's location, where she was struggling to stay afloat in current that was carrying her closer to the deadly waterfall. The Newfoundland's water rescue training included techniques for approaching victims in swift water without creating additional danger for either rescuer or victim during emergency operations. Captain reached Mia just as the current was carrying her toward the most dangerous section of Miller Creek, where the waterfall created conditions that would be fatal for anyone swept over the edge into the rocky pool below. "Good dog, help me," Mia gasped as Captain positioned himself to provide flotation support while fighting against current that threatened to sweep both of them toward the waterfall. The Newfoundland's rescue positioning was sophisticated and purposeful, using his massive body as a living barrier between Mia and the downstream dangers while maintaining both their heads above the rushing flood water. Captain's strength and swimming ability allowed him to begin maneuvering towards safer water where human rescue teams could assist with extraction from the dangerous flood conditions. "Almost there, Mia," Jennifer called from the creek bank as Captain demonstrated remarkable endurance and technique during the rescue operation that tested every aspect of his water rescue training. The rescue reached its most critical point as Captain and Mia approached within 20 feet of the waterfall, where any loss of control would result in a fatal plunge into the rocky pool that had claimed previous flood victims. Captain's positioning and swimming technique became crucial as he fought against current that was designed to carry everything toward the waterfall edge, where rescue would become impossible. "Hold tight to Captain," Jennifer called as the Newfoundland used every ounce of his strength and training to prevent both victims from being swept over the edge, where survival chances would drop to zero. The 20-foot waterfall represented the absolute deadline for successful rescue, making Captain's performance in the final approach critical for preventing a fatal outcome. Captain's natural water rescue abilities and professional training came together in those final moments to create the margin of safety needed to avoid the deadly waterfall that waited just downstream. Captain's successful maneuvering away from the waterfall allowed human rescue teams to deploy safety lines and extraction equipment that could safely remove both dog and victim from the dangerous flood water. "We've got them," called rescue swimmer Mark Rodriguez as he reached Captain and Mia with flotation equipment designed for swift water extractions. The extraction operation required careful coordination to remove both Captain and Mia from water that remained dangerous despite their successful avoidance of the deadly waterfall. "Good boy, Captain, you saved me," Mia said as rescue teams wrapped both her and Captain in warming blankets designed for flood rescue victims. Captain remained close to Mia throughout the initial medical treatment, providing continued comfort while emergency personnel evaluated both victims for injuries from their experience in the flash flood. Both Mia and Captain required evaluation for potential injuries from their experience in the flash flood, but their conditions were remarkably good, considering the dangerous nature of their rescue operation. Captain's rescue probably saved Mia's life, reported emergency physician Dr. Robert Kim. Another 30 seconds, and they would have been swept over the waterfall where rescue would have been impossible. Mia's condition was stable with no serious injuries from her flood experience, while Captain showed signs of exhaustion from his rescue efforts but no significant medical concerns. The successful rescue demonstrated the remarkable capabilities of specialized water rescue dogs, whose natural abilities could succeed where conventional rescue methods faced timing limitations that could be fatal. The Gonzalez family expressed overwhelming gratitude to Captain and the water rescue team who had responded so quickly to prevent what could have been a fatal flash flood accident. "Captain saved our daughter's life," Rosa said, as she embraced both Mia and the Newfoundland who had risked his own safety to rescue her. "That dog dove into deadly flood water to bring our little girl home." The rescue strengthened community appreciation for specialized emergency response capabilities and the remarkable abilities of working dogs trained for life-threatening water rescue operations. Following his successful flash flood rescue, Captain continued his work with the Regional Water Rescue Unit, with enhanced recognition of his swift water capabilities and additional training for flood emergency operations. The rescue also led to improved flood warning systems and enhanced safety education for families visiting creek areas where flash floods could develop rapidly during storm conditions. Years later, Mia remained grateful to Captain and often spoke about water safety and flood preparedness. Captain had proven that some rescue equipment came with 4 paws, natural water abilities, and the courage to dive into deadly floods when lives hung in the balance and conventional methods faced impossible timing constraints. I still think about that summer afternoon when a 9-year-old girl was swept away by a flash flood that transformed a peaceful creek into a deadly torrent, carrying her toward a 20-foot waterfall where previous victims had lost their lives. While her family watched helplessly and conventional rescue methods faced timing limitations that could mean the difference between life and death. If Captain had hesitated at the dangerous current, if he'd lacked the natural water abilities to fight against flood conditions, if he'd been anything less than a specialized water rescue professional who understood that some emergencies can't wait for equipment deployment, Mia Gonzalez would have plunged over that waterfall while rescue remained seconds away from being too late. Captain's story teaches us something profound about the natural abilities that certain breeds bring to our most dangerous rescue operations, proving that some emergencies require not just courage, but the kind of specialized water skills that can succeed where human rescuers face limitations that could prevent successful outcomes.